By pursuing the reinvestment in the matters of defense, all the member states, and the Europeans in particular, continue to structure this European pillar within NATO. That's what we have been pushing for several years now. To have a Europe that spends more, that further takes responsibility for its security and a bigger share of the burden. That was both the American wish for years and European necessity, and we have to do it for ourselves and to become more independent. We're doing all of this, let me remind you and put this back in the middle of discussions, because there is a Russian threat. I said a couple of months ago to our fellow citizens, for years now, we have been living through the third Russian war in Europe, which brings this threat. After Georgia and Crimea, the war of aggression in February 2022 in Ukraine very clearly allowed us to identify this long-term threat. And this is why we are all rearming ourselves, because this threat is at our borders. This collective effort and the good result we have with this communiqué and this European commitment, they very clearly require trade peace. We cannot, among allies, say we have to spend more, tell ourselves we have to spend more, and then within NATO have a trade war. That's an aberration. And so this is why it is very important that we could come back to what should be the rule among all the allies, meaning a true trade peace, and so lowering the trade barriers that exist or that were raised. My job is not to interpret Article 5. There are texts, legal workers, to look at these texts, and then you should ask them. I mean, we are in this alliance with everything that comes with it, which is a solidarity among all its members. On Iran, we have a ceasefire. We can see that it is volatile and fragile. My wish is for it to hold. This ceasefire will be accompanied by an evaluation of the damages that were done, as I said a while ago, and we should clarify this in the coming hours and days. And in any case, we should resume diplomatic and technical work in terms of nuclear. And so the IAEA has a role to play. Of course, the United States of America have resumed contact with the Iranians, and the Europeans will have their place, because in a few weeks, we will have a choice to make on this subject, which is to know if the JCPOA is still a framework or not, because it still exists, and we have deadlines that continue to approach, as well as choices we have to make in the summer.